Hi STA students. Okay, so this installment of distance learning, we are going to work on what they call a backlit drawing. Okay, and it's going to involve a little more shadow, and even our kindergartners can work on this. They can do their version of it. Today I'm going to work on a giraffe, and I'll give you instructions kind of as we go. But let's take a look at the giraffe that we're going to work on and a type of photo reference that we're going to work with today, okay? So today's photo that I'm going to be working from is a backlit photo of a giraffe. And the way you can tell, this is a little bit more side lit, but it is backlit. And you can see that the heaviest light is down this left-hand side of the giraffe because the light is coming in from back left. But it is back enough so that we can see just the tiniest bit of rim lighting on the back side here and a little catch of that light in there. Now you can do this with complete backlit where this is much darker, or where it has zero light on this side and it's just more backside lit. Either one is fine, the photos that you're working from, okay? So, but this is the idea of what we're after, something like this. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm going to draw lightly with my pencil, and I just wanna get an idea of where I'm gonna go with this. So I'm just kind of, like I always teach you guys to draw, we're just gonna do shape first. We're not doing anything crazy. And I'm just getting the idea of the angles. I'm going to come up into here. That's too thick. And if you'll notice, I'm not worrying anything about detail right now. All I'm doing is just sketching in the basics. Things are going to change. I'm going to move things and adjust some of my drawing. But I do want to get something to work with to try and make sure I'm getting it all on the page. Now I'm going to work on, this is just the shoulder part. Now I'm going to come over to this back leg. Pull that into here. Okay, so now that I've got this part done, this is just my setup. I'm going to maybe bring this over here, get my eye. And again, bigger shapes to smaller shapes. So that's just kind of a diamond shape, and then I'll put the eyelash over the top. Smaller shape for the muzzle and the nose. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, unlike things that I normally do, I would normally go right into the darks here. But because we're doing a backlit piece, I am actually going to start with the lights, which is pretty much the opposite of what I normally do. But I really want to focus on the lights of this as opposed to the darks. The darks we will add in as subtleties, just like we normally do with the lights. Okay, so I've got my kind of lay in here of my little giraffe. Now I'm going to adjust a little bit here and there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch pencils. All right, and I'm going to go to a light pencil, like this. So I'm going to pick out the light side, all of the bright, and I'm just going to do that first. Everywhere where I see the bright. Now the pencil's not going to come out real strong, but I'm going to lay white ink over the top. But I am going to do some shading with the pencil. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to start at the top, and I'm going to find the line, and I'm just going to kind of color it in. I will fade it, and I'll get as much. Pencils don't work real great. They don't give you a very bright light, but that's okay. We can use it for our shading. But I do want to get an idea, and don't draw pencil right over don't draw the white pencil right over the dark pencil, because it'll just smear. So I'm going to draw inside or outside of the line here. So like here, I will take it on the outside. And then right underneath the eye here, I'm going to get a little of this light that's here. And again, I'm just kind of putting in the shapes. I'm just drawing in the light shapes. I'm not worried about the detail so much as I am the shape. Once I do that, then I'll come back over it with some white pencil. Now right up under here, this is where I am going to color. And I'm going to actually shade this a little bit like this. And then right in here, it's kind of bright. And then here, now there's some little spots that I need to go around. So I'm going to go around some spots. Of the giraffe. There's a little bit of rim lighting here, and then there's pretty strong rim light here. And again, there's a spot or two that I will go around. That. Now what I'm going to do, which is really going to pop this out a little bit more, I'm looking for shading opportunities, light opportunities. There's a little bit of a highlight here and a little bit of rim lighting on this ear. So now I have indicated all of my rim lights. There's a little bit, there's some hairs that's catching some rim light here. So now I'm going to switch over to the ink pen. Thank you. And this should be brighter. Now again, there's a trickiness to working with these ink pens. If you're going over a wax pencil, sometimes it doesn't take real well. So we're going to do a little experiment here and see how this is going to work. I'm going to go right on the edge that is closest to the light, not all the way back in here. So I'll start up on the top here, and I'll get on the outside. Yeah, that's what I thought. Let's try this here. Okay, so let me try this here. So I am going to go on the outside here. And you'll see how the light is a little, the ink is a little brighter. But I try not to take this ink too much over the waxy white pencil, because if you do, you have to tap it. And you can get a little brighter spot on that. Like right in here, I'm going to have to tap a lot because it's kind of bright here. And then I'll let it fade. The other thing that does work even better than the ink pencil, if you have it, is white paint and a brush. That will basically go over any pencil. The only thing it won't go over real well is it won't go over black ink. The ink tends to crawl through. You have to really do layer after layer. So here I'm just trying to hammer down as much of the brightest part of the white ink as I can, and I let the pencil do the light, the softer light that's coming back around in here. So I'm still going to put a little bit more up in here. And there's some little areas that I can highlight around in here. And if you squint your eyes at this right now, you'll start to see the silhouette of this baby giraffe. And it's being backlit by the sun. So here I can kind of put some of this in. Now the last thing I'm going to do on this right now, and what you guys can do at this point, I'm going to probably be a little stronger with my light in here, is I can go back and forth with both my pencils, with my white pencil for the lights and with my dark pencil. I will start with you almost on this one, we're going opposite. You start with the lightest shades in here because you don't want too much detail in here. You want just the lighter shades and then pop in some heavy darks. But you don't go crazy with the heavy darks because you do want a lot of this ambiance of the background to just sort of blend in with the giraffe, and it gives it a little of that. So here I am going to do some of these shades on the fur in the back, and I'm going to push down just a little bit more with my pencil. I am going to do the detail on the eye. I'm going to do a little bit of darker and a little bit of shade. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil, my white pencil, and I'm going to give it a soft reflected light to make the eye here look a little more liquid. And there's a little bit of lightness here that's catching what they call reflected light, something that's bouncing light from over here. So with this giraffe, we have two types of light that we have to deal with: reflected light and the actual lightness of the skin of the animal, because they do have some white areas, like right in here is a lighter area. And that's what you do, is you actually draw the inside or in between of the spots. Let the spots stay gray. And then this will just be the light area of the skin of the giraffe. And you just sort of let that be. And it'll be kind of a neat little lighter area. And then as it comes down the neck. And this is what they called a Maasai giraffe, by the way. And the way you can tell the Maasai from the reticulated or the Grant is the Maasai has a little bit more of a star pattern or an irregular shaping of the spots. There's three types of giraffe. There's the Nubian, reticulated are the ones with the real, almost perfectly rectangular squares, and then you have the Maasai, which has a little bit more of a star pattern. So I'm just going to take this down to here. You're going to get the idea of this. And then in here, there's a little lighter shading from the pencil because of the color of his fur or skin is white. There's a couple of spots in here. So now that I've got most of the white areas done from where I want, then I go back in with the darker pencil and I can really pop in some of the darks. There are darks over here underneath the eyelashes. There's a little more shading here because they have kind of a browner color up in here. And then it shades down into the muzzle. We can bring these shapes up in here. Same thing around the mouth. But I just want to go in where the darkest areas are. I don't want to go crazy. It's really about this light that's on the outside that gives it that rim lighting kind of coolness. Put a little bit of shading here under the eye. Actually, I'm going to take my ink pen and I'm going to accentuate some of the eyelashes. They're there too. Like that. Probably put in a little bit of rim lighting here too, even though I'm going to put some just little hairs. There aren't any in the photo, but this will help tell my story. And that way I can connect this area into the neck just by adding a little bit of fur that's actually not there, but they do have this furry little muzzles and stuff. So I should do that. Okay, now from here, I can shade in some of the darker areas inside the ear, some of the real heavy dark areas back in here. Not too crazy. And then the fur that comes up into here can be a little darker. And it's not catching much light, so let's do that. And then in the darker areas where it's a little further away from the light, I can shadow in some of the spots. Again, I don't want to go too crazy with that. I just want to kind of give it a little bit, just some little areas. And that gives you a little bit of a rim lighting kind of a drawing. Now you can do it on dark paper. You can do it on black paper also if you really want to try it. With the black paper, you won't do any shading with your pencil. It's all done with a white pencil and an ink pen, and you just do the light areas of the animal or person or thing that you want to do. If you can do it with a cup or a bottle or any of that kind of stuff too. But this is a quick idea, and it's really kind of fun to do. And for my younger ones, second grade, first grade, kindergarten, you can do it. You can try it with a frog or something simple to draw. Okay, but have fun, give it a shot, and show us your backlit, rimlit animal drawings. That'd be cool. You need 3 things. If you can get an ink pen, great, or white paint, awesome. If not, you can use the pencil and the dark pencil and the white pencil. All right? So there you go. Have a great time. Mr. Parsons and I miss you. Show us your drawings when you get a chance. We'll see you next week. See ya.